what are you looking for in a partner? And then what are some discreditors of a partner?
Yeah, I love this question. I've had a lot of partners. And now I really mean it when I say I have the best partners in the world in every company, right? Number one thing I'm looking for is, do we align on our personal core values? Okay? If I'm a Christian and they're a non-believer, it is a no-go for me.
That's fair.
Because when we disagree and when shit hits the fan, for lack of better terms, where do we fall back on? Where's the common ground, right? See, with all my like I'm a Christian, right? And all my partners are Christian. And if there were ever to be a day where we had a major disagreement, we just flip up in the Bible. Hey, what does the Bible say? Like, can we find something in the Bible? Can we find a proverb? Can we find something where we can look at it and find the solution to our problem? Can it point us in the right direction? Can we pray about it? Can we ask God what we should do? Right? Hey, God, what should we do? We're in this crossroads. We can take the company this way or we can take the company that way. What should we do? Let's pray on it, right? So, like, that's the number one thing. And it could be, it doesn't have to be Christianity or anything like that, right? I understand everybody's got different things. But my whole point of what I'm saying is, let's say you used to be a drug addict and you're now 20 years sober. Okay? And you're thinking about bringing in a partner, and your partner drinks and does drugs every weekend. Well, that might not be a good partner, because you're probably going to spend a lot of time with that guy or gal, right? And if you're not aligned, if it's actually difficult for you to stay off of drugs, you've been sober, then you want to be really careful. You're not surrounding yourself with somebody who maybe on a Friday night after a late night's worth of work is like, hey, dude, come on, let's just go it's just one drink. Let's go. We deserve it. We earned it. We just closed a $100,000 deal. Let's go have a beer, right? Yeah. It's probably not going to be good.
Even seasonality too. Yeah. So it's just like, or not necessarily seasonality, but what season that you're in on a partnership perspective and a personal perspective. So somebody like me, that's like very much so, we call it in the hunt.
Yep.
You need to make sure that you have somebody else that's also in the hunt.
Totally.
So I've had a lot of partners that, were in their mid-50s or potential partners, mid-50s, family.
Yeah.
They're more so about preservation.
Totally.
I'm about accumulation. So you need to make sure that, if somebody is about preservation, what role are they playing? Maybe they're sitting on the board seat. Maybe they're a smaller equity percentage, and they have a role to play. But you need to have accumulation, or preservation.
Totally.
So you need to have somebody that's aligned with you in the season of life that they're in as well. I'll tell you something that I look for, and knock on wood that I think that I'm doing this the right way. I'm not God's gift to underwriting.
Sure.
That's not my strength. And the first thing that I learned from my mentors was, in corporate, you work on your weaknesses. So you're well-rounded. But in entrepreneurship, you double down, 10x your strengths. You hire and partner with your weaknesses.
Delegate your weaknesses. Yep.
So for me, how I underwrite my partners and my operators of my companies, which is like the most important thing, is I'm looking and I'm like, what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
And so a lot of my people, newborn kids, and they're hungry.
Yep.
And a lot of them are in our community. So they come to me. For an example of this they come to me and they say, like, hey, I just got let go of this job. I've been a high performer. I've got a new kid. So one of the companies that we're buying is with a guy like this. He's like, we just got restructured out of my company. I just came back from paternity leave, got fired. My job doesn't exist anymore. And he goes, now what? Now I'm going to go buy a business.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, I don't care what business that you're going to buy. I trust you with it. I'm going to give you my money. Because this guy's going to make sure his kid eats.
Sure.
Like, I'm 100% in on that guy.
Totally.
And I've got another guy I'm buying a gym with, the same thing, where he's like, him and his wife are going to quit. They're going to run the gym.
Yep.
It's both of their passion. So they're passionate about it. They got a newborn kid. So
I love
like,
that.
Dude, I'm all in on that.
Yeah.
I mean, anything in particular, like other rules of thumb like that you have?
That's a great one. So yeah, you got the first one that we talked about. You have yours that we talked about. I would say really maybe the third one just might be going back to like rocket fuel and traction, right? Like
personalities?
Personalities and skill set, right? If you're a visionary, you might not want to partner with another visionary because
that'd be miserable.
What value are they bringing? Not only would it be miserable, right? It would be miserable because you're going to clash all the time. But secondary to that, what value do they bring that you don't have, right? Like you already have that value. You're a visionary.
If there's two of you, one of you isn't needed.
100%. So always partner with somebody that brings something to the table that you don't bring to the table, right? Like all my partners are really good at stuff that I'm not good at. Every one of them. Right? They're amazing at stuff that I'm not good at. And by the way, I'm great at things that they can't do, such as what we're doing right now. right? Not that they couldn't do it. All my partners could do it, but they don't want to. They don't have the desire to, and they haven't spent the last 10 years doing it. So for them to even get remotely close to what I've built would take them 10 years. Right. So they allow me to run in my lane of, marketing, omnipresence, stuff like that. And I allow them to run in their lane. And there's that trust factor. And, knowing that, I trust them and they trust me, it's not this and again, it goes back to having similar core personal values. Right. But I could go on vacation for 3 months. They're not going to be like, what's Austin doing? What's he bringing to the table? That's not how our partnership works, right? We're not checking in on each other all the time. It's just I trust, because we have similar personal core values, I trust that whatever it is that they're doing is what it is that they're supposed to be doing. And the alternative is also true, right? I'm not dude, why weren't you here at 9 a.m.? It's I don't care, right? Because I know that they're upholding their end of the bargain. And their role is going to get complete. It doesn't matter if they're in the office, they're not in the office. So trust is a big one too.
Trust but verify.
Trust but verify. Yeah.
So you just said a lot of gold.
Yep.
What does this look like on the operating agreement?
Sure, 1,000,000%, and we have that operating agreement, right?
And a lot of people don't, though.
A lot
of people take what you just said, and that's level 1 of the game, and they
Right.
go, all right, Austin,
Yep.
me and you, I'm great at ops, you're great at sales, let's go 50-50. And
handshake it out.
And they've got an
Yeah.
operating agreement where they're on the cap table, and they're we're going to form Business Buying LLC.
Yep.
And it's going to say BIZ Buying because we want to be trendy. And then we're going to have 50-50, and then here's how we're going to split the profit. Let's go.
Yep.
And they don't have any roles and responsibilities listed in the OA, and they don't have any clauses for what happens if somebody disappears, what happens if somebody dies, what happens if somebody just decides that they don't want to work and they're not fulfilling their end of the bargain. How do they get bought out? At what level? What equity? What format?
Yeah. You got to have all that in the OA.
Talk to us about OAs.
Well, you got to talk about it. You have to have the verbal conversation, and then you need to hire an attorney, and you need to put it together. I would not rely on ChatGPT to do your OA if you want a good one, right? I see a lot of people that get on to ChatGPT. They're like, write me an operating agreement. Sure, it can do it, but it's probably not going to be that great. I think attorneys are still better than ChatGPT. Now, that might be different in 10 years from now or even 5 years from now. But as of today, I think you need a good attorney or a good template. I'm sure you provide that to your students. And you need to make sure that you cover all the bases. You just covered a lot of them, right?
Yeah.
And have that verbal conversation with your partner before you frickin' partner. Right? Hey, dude, what do the next 5-10 years look like for you? What do you want to do every day? What does that look like? How much time do you want to dedicate, right? If the day ever comes where you pass away, do you want, what does that look like, right? We've talked through all of that. You know what I mean? My partners know what happens if I die right now, right? My wife knows what happens if I die right now. You know what I mean? So you want to make sure that you have those conversations up front so that, in the long run, it doesn't cause problems. I think a lot of people, they don't like to have uncomfortable conversations because they don't want to stir the pot, but then they end up having a much bigger issue down the line.